Hey, I'm back. And this is where they should be like a lot of applauding sound effect. But since I don't edit, you won't hear that. Um, and I was going to say something else, but anyway, I'm here for Vinyl Update. Um, got quite a bit of stuff, as usual. Haven't done a video in a minute, so I've been accumulating. I haven't been buying a lot. I mean, I've been buying sort of steady, but not like, you know, over the top. But first things I want to show here is got this CD. Actually, it's two CDs. Accept Balls to the Wall. This is the deluxe remaster, I guess you'd call it. Disc one is the album, and disc two is the live album in Osaka, Japan, 1985, called "Staying Alive." So I'd seen that. It's like that's cool. I don't know if you guys are into Accept or not, but it's a German metal band, sort of in the vein of AC/DC type. And then this was a new anthology that just came out. It's called In Nomine Satanas, the Neat Anthology. The group is Venom. And I have most of these songs in either CDs or a box set that I have, but I couldn't pass this up. It was just too cool. Venom is definitely an acquired taste for a lot of people. But to me, they were the very first, what I would consider black metal band. Some people would not consider them a black metal band, but I would. This has, where does it say here? It has, I think, 40 tracks. It's two discs, 43 tracks. Includes two previously unreleased tracks. Um, and it includes an interview with Kronos, Mantis, and Abaddon, which I still cannot locate on here. I don't know where that is exactly. Maybe you got to put it in your computer or something. Even though it was released in 2019, you wouldn't think you'd have to do that by now. But and then this, I don't think I'd shown this. This is a band that I was made aware of by Jello Biafra, watching some of his favorite music and albums and stuff on some videos that's on YouTube. And he said out of all the bands that he would buy a plane ticket and fly across country to see live is this band, Magma. This is a trilogy CD set, 3 CDs. That's what trilogy means. I'm so smart. Magma Live in 75, Udo Voodoo in 76, and Attack in 78. This band is a strange one. It's what I would consider like prog rock, avant-garde, but it's really undefinable. They have their own sound, and they have their own language. So if you ever see anything Magma and you like that kind of stuff I just described, just don't hesitate, just buy it. Because I seen it and I was thinking, that cannot be that group, but it is. 3 landmark albums from the 1970s, celebrating the dark and beguiling world of Christian Vander and Magma. And this band is still touring today, amazingly. I seen this the other day when we were out, and it's like, what is that? The Many Faces of Motley Crue. This is 3 discs. And it's basically, it says, a journey through the inner world of Motley Crue. And it can be a little deceiving because it's not technically a Motley Crue release. I'm sure it was done. I mean, Motley Crue might not be aware, but I'm not sure. But it has Motley Crue songs, but it also has Ozzy songs, Van Halen, Def Leppard, um, Guns N' Roses. But none of these songs are the original songs, but they're done by other artists that you might know. I'm not going to read them all, but I'll just read a few of the artists that are on here, not necessarily the songs that they do. But you have, if I can focus on it, you have Mick Mars playing guitar on some of these. Nikki Sixx is on here. Jizzy Pearl, Fred Curry from Cinderella. Let's see, Phil Lewis, Tracy Guns from LA Guns. Such small print on here. Some of these bands, I'm not even sure who they are, which is not a bad thing. Then you have Joe Lynn Turner from Deep Purple, and Glenn Hughes from Deep Purple. Bruce Kulick is on here. Some members of Whitesnake, members of Quiet Riot. Eric Singer from Kiss. Mark Slaughter, Gilby Clarke. But you get the idea. So I haven't listened to this yet, but I think I have a similar one for Guns N' Roses like this. But yeah. And it was only like less than $7. Then we went and seen this movie that just came out. It came out the day it came out. We went and seen it. I wanted to see it. Kat wasn't too enthused because she's not a Beatles fan. Although this was not technically a Beatles movie, but it sort of was. Yesterday, and I bought the soundtrack shortly thereafter. I really liked the movie. I thought it was really good. Kat liked the movie. And the soundtrack is sung by this guy, which he's the main character in the movie. And he's a really good singer, I think. And this has 27 tracks on it. I think I showed that already. But it's a really good movie. I'd give it a 10 out of 10. And the premise of the movie, if you're not familiar with it, it's this guy woke up one day after being hit by a bus, I think it was, and he was the only one that knew who the Beatles were. No one else knew who the Beatles were. I'm not going to give the whole story away, but that's basically the premise of it, and it's got a really good storyline, and it's got a lot more to it than just what I said. So if you have a chance to see that movie, and if you're a Beatles fan, you would like it, for sure. Or if you're like into the what if scenario, or the conspiracy type thing. Maybe not conspiracy so much, but anyway. Blab, blab, blab. I'm trying to make this quick because I still have some vinyl to show. I picked up this book, Growing Up with the Sex Pistols, Young Flesh Required. This was in the clearance section at Half Price Books, I think it was. So there's that. Like I don't have enough books to read already. This was not in the clearance section, but it was at half price. I've been wanting this book for a while. And it was a lot cheaper than full price. Of course, The Most Beautiful, My Life with Prince, Mai Tai Garcia. And this was written by Prince's ex-wife, Mai Tai, which was also a dancer of his and appeared in a lot of his videos and such. This was written after he had passed away, so hopefully she goes into detail about their private life, because, I mean, a lot of people don't know anything about that. Since he's passed away, a lot more stuff has been coming out of the woodwork. So, and all his music videos have been uploaded on YouTube by his official channel. And there's music videos on there that, one, I never knew existed, or two, never even heard the song. So, I mean, I was into Prince, all the way from the first album. Didn't get into the first album at the time, because that was 1978. Not that I couldn't have. I just didn't know who Prince was until, probably like everyone else, around 1999. And then, of course, Purple Rain. Everybody and their brother knew who he was. But I was into Prince from that point all the way up through probably the early 90s, mid 90s. I think Diamonds and Pearls was the last album I remember vaguely being interested in. After that, it was sort of hit and miss. I bought a few other ones after that, here and there. But I lost track of Prince because he took all of his music, his videos, and everything was not online. And they didn't reissue a lot of stuff at that time, or it wasn't reissued. So other than maybe Purple Rain or Around the World in a Day or something like that, you wouldn't really have a whole lot of access to his music, which I think in the long run, that's just my opinion, I think in the long run that really hurt his career. It hurt his name out there in the public because a lot of young people that's in the music might not have known who Prince was, depending on how they got their music. Um, so hopefully now that'll change. But a little ramble there. I need to shut up and just show some stuff. Um, Here's another story. As I shut up, Mad Magazine has recently been posted all over the place that they are going to cease publication. That's half true. After the issue 11, which should be the October issue, they are going to cease publication on just new material. Then they're going to start reprinting old material for the meantime, but they still exist. There's a lot of petitions being signed to save Mad and all this, as far as new material. Some of the year-end specials or special editions might contain new material here and there, but Mad Magazine has been around since, I think it's been around about 67 years, so longer than I've been alive, which is pretty amazing for any kind of magazine or really anything. So that being said, I didn't have this issue, so I went out and bought it while I could to support the magazine. If that's what you want to do, support the magazine, because after issue 10, I think, it's no longer going to be carried in, it's only going to be carried in comic book stores. So that's the only way you can get your Mad Magazine, because after they fulfill their subscriptions, even their 2-year subscriptions, they're not taking anymore, I guess, is what I've read. But anyway, this is issue number 8. It's the most recent issue. And I have all of these since they relaunched back in a couple of years, maybe a year or so ago. So this is number 8. And if you want to see Mad Magazine continue in any way, shape, or form, go out and support it. Go to your comic book store, which you should be going to anyway, and supporting. I recently bought a bunch of magazines. I'm not going to show them all at half price, because I've been going through their magazines periodically and finding some cool stuff. This is my very first issue I ever owned. It's number 21 of Ugly Things magazine. And I was under the impression that this is a sister magazine to Shindig. Maybe sister magazine isn't the right way to say it, because this one's quite thick. This is almost like a catalog type of magazine, so it's not really a magazine in my mind. It's more like that Bump catalog that I got, but I still need to sit down and delve into this a little bit, because there's a lot of stuff in here. But Ugly Things, that'll be interesting. And then on to the vinyl. I do have some albums here to show. Recently, we lost this guy, passed away. I'm not sure how old he was when he passed away, but there's been people dropping like flies here lately. I guess it goes in cycles. Leon Redbone. And his voice is unmistakable. There he is on the back. This one's called Double Time. And this one came out in 1977. And I want to say, and I could be totally wrong about this, but I want to say that he did some voiceovers for, I mean, I know he did voiceovers for a lot, but I want to say he did some for Schoolhouse Rock, but that don't sound right for some reason. This album, some of the songs he does is If We Never Meet Again, This Side of Heaven, appropriate. Melancholy Baby, Mr. Jelly Roll Baker, Diddy Wah Diddy, which Captain Beefheart had covered. So I don't know whose song that was originally. I think it was I don't know. Anybody out there? Tim Allen, I bet you know, who did Diddy Why Diddy originally before Captain Beefheart. That's your homework. And then I got some John Denver records. Farewell Andromeda. I'd never seen this one before. And I'm on a sort of I mean, I have some John Denver, but I've been buying more John Denver recently. Just because I can. And then it has the lyrics sheet. And the reason I'm buying stuff is the reason I buy. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons, but as far as the John Denver, it's because Greta Van Fleet likes John Denver, so God forbid I have to buy everything that I know they like. I'm influenced very easily, and I want to think that I'm really not, but you know, something happens like that, it's like obviously I'm quite influenced. And then this one, Take Me to Tomorrow. This was another one that you just don't see. I have his box set on CD, which probably has the majority of his popular songs. But the albums, you know, you sort of want just for the ones that you don't hear. And these records are like new. I mean, the sleeves are worn, this one especially. And I think I found all these John Denver ones, I think I found at Goodwill. And this one, Rocky Mountain High, this was probably a big seller because it has that song on it. I don't recognize any of the other songs right off. If I heard them, I'd probably... Mother Nature's Son, that sounds familiar. And then there's the Flimsy Gatefold. This is really flimsy there. And there's the album. His shirt says, "Be kind to animals, kiss a beaver." Let's see. I'm not making it up. Of course, if you have this album, you already know that. And then this one I might already have already. Poems, Prayers, and Promises. This one you see once in a while. Take Me Home, Country Roads is on here. So, Sunshine on My Shoulders, great song. Those are the only two that I recognize right off. And then this one, Rhymes and Reasons. Another one you sort of don't see much. I mean, his covers are very similar, so it'd be easy to get them confused if you don't have them side by side. But I get confused fairly easily. Look at that shirt he's got on. Isn't that great? I'd really like to have that shirt. Wonder where it is now. And this one has any songs that I recognize. When I'm 64, he does that. The Ballad of Richard Nixon. Yellow Cat. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Sugar City. Am I the only one that's a John Denver fan? I bet I'm not, because I mean, he's appealing to a lot of different people. And then on to some different stuff here, very different. Steiermark Quartet, Slovenian Echoes. That's a great cover. See if I can get that sticker off that guy's face. And of course I'm not going to try to pronounce any of this because it's not my language. I don't speak Slovakian. It's a United Artists sleeve. I might have got that out myself. I don't remember. Because I do try to put them in sleeves, which it's just, there's no reason really. There's not really going to protect the record. It's just the whole idea of it, I suppose. And then this one here. This guy, I don't even know his name. Oh, this is With the Exciters. How do you pronounce his name? Larry Altop? Yeah, Larry Altop. He looks like Johnny Rodriguez, but I knew I didn't buy a Johnny Rodriguez record recently, because I do have a little bit of a memory from time to time. So Johnny Rodriguez. Larry Alltop with the Exciters. And this is, he does Let Her In, and that's the same song that John Travolta did. Kung Fu Fighting, that's probably the reason I bought it. Daddy, Don't You Walk So Fast. I got the music in me. Yeah, that would be good. 1977 seemed like the year for every Tom, Dick, and Harry to put out a record, or in this case, Larry. And then one of these stereo action records, Ray Martin. I always get these. Bought one not too long ago. It didn't have the inner sleeve with it, but I bought it anyway because, you know, I have to. I just have to. And then we have Stephen Stills. I want to say this is his first solo album. And for the life of me, I don't know what happened to the second one. I have the second one, and I bought these two, I think, at the same time. And I listened to one of them, and must have got in a different stack. I don't think I showed it in the video. It's very possible I could have. But anyway, Stephen Stills. Once again, the reason I bought those two Stephen Stills records was because a recommendation by Greta Van Fleet. They don't realize that they're actually influencing my record purchases. And then this one, I see this record everywhere, and for some reason, I mean, I could possibly have it, but for some reason, I've never consciously decided to buy it. Justin Hayward and John Lodge, Blue Jays. And if you go to used record places or thrift stores, whatever, you probably see this a million times, because I've seen this record over and over and over and over again. So this time I thought I'd go ahead and pick it up. And this one's in really decent shape. And I'm not really even sure if this was a band that had just the one album, or if it just had a hit song off the one album. Once again, Tim Allen, do you know? Or does anyone out there know from Threshold Records? I'm going to look at the track listing here, which usually doesn't tell me anything, because sometimes if I don't hear a song, I don't know the song. That's not always the case, but no, I don't recognize any of these, but you'll get that. And then this one, I just love the cover. This is John Buehler introduces the X1 with somebody else on drums. I just love the organ. I like John's organ. Don't tell John I said that. I wonder where that organ is. It's probably in the same place where that John Denver shirt is. This is some white label. Probably not a white label promo. It's probably just couldn't afford color. October 4th, 1981, St. Peter's Parish, Huber Heights, Ohio. Rosary Altar Dance. Someone wrote that in there. Sort of fascinating. Thought that said Tarantino for a minute, but it says Tarquinio. So, yeah, I like organ music, so this is going to be definitely that. You Light Up My Life, Blue Hawaii, Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Bikini, which is done in a cha-cha style. Star Wars Cantina Band theme from Exodus, Blue Tango. There he is in the back. No, that's not creepy or anything. John and his creepy organ. Jack LaLanne, Help for You, Hips and Thighs. I want to say this might be my second John LaLanne record. I got one in some VCLT a while back. It even has him on the label there. But this was the first one that I remember seeing that I bought. Recorded in Hollywood. That would explain a lot, I suppose. It says you should have a regular chair of sturdy construction. That was number one. Number two, loose fitting clothes for exercising comfort. Number three, pad or small rug for floor exercises. And number four, a determination to accomplish your goals. And I'm assuming you need all that before you can play the record. It doesn't actually say that, but I did. Last one I have here, Honky Tonk Oregon by Bill Doggett. I got a few of his records, but didn't have this one, apparently. So, this has Honky Tonk Part 1 and Honky Tonk Part 2, which I think I have that on 45, or I just seen it recently. But there's all my junk. 25 minutes of rambling, I think it was. Sorry for the long video, but I hadn't made one in a while, and I got quite a bit of stuff out of the way there. So thanks for subscribing, and please subscribe if you're not currently subscribing to my channel, and commenting and all that good stuff. Check out my Facebook page, Hernando's Vinyl Hideaway. It goes hand in hand with this channel. Videos are posted on there from this channel as well. And we'll see you in the next vinyl update. You know what I'm saying? Here, let's do a panorama shot. There's not a whole lot over there to see because there's no lights. There, panorama. Wow. Freaky.